Good morning, everyone. It's Ken Angst, team leader of the Angst Real Estate team, back with our weekly real estate podcast. This week, we are actually switching gears and not talking about how to list your house or sell your house. We're talking about investments, and we have a fresh face on the podcast. So I want to welcome in Geneva Martinkus with Allied 1031 Exchange. Good morning. How are you?
Great.
Thanks for coming in. She's never been on the podcast before, and one of our partners when talking about 1031 exchanges. So tell us a little bit about yourself, Geneva, and how long you've been doing this, and a little bit about your company.
Okay, so I've started doing exchanges in 2002. I became a certified exchange specialist in 2008. So that's kept me busy. We also do loan servicing of private money.
Great.
Nevada foreclosures, so.
You have a lot of things going on. You must work a lot, so great.
Busy.
So, but today we're going to specifically talk about 1031 exchanges. They're a little complex. They're a little hard to do in our market just because of the time frame. So we're going to kind of go through the overview, and then if you have specifics, we'll get her name and number and give her a call and make it happen. So first, let's talk about what is a 1031 exchange and why would someone be interested in doing one?
Well, if you are dealing in investment property and you're going to sell investment and buy investment, you want to definitely look into doing an exchange because it's going to defer your taxes.
So deferred taxes are the name of the game for this?
Yes. Yeah.
Okay. So why should someone enter into one, and can someone, let's just start off, I get this question a lot. Someone owns a primary residence and they want to do a 1031 exchange. Can you do one?
No.
So you can never do one
unless you convert it.
Unless you convert it. So give us an example of someone converting it and how that would work.
Well, you buy it as your primary residence and then you decide to rent it.
Okay.
So now you have you made it an investment property.
Okay. So once you make an investment property, you can absolutely do a 1031 exchange. So give us an example of how one works. Let's talk about what are the time frames. So you have an investment property that is clearly in the camp of 1031 exchange. Give us some examples of investments that you can do a 1031 exchange. Raw land?
Well, yes, raw land, any land, anything, any properties that are investment. So
Okay.
you can sell raw land, you can buy a home, you can buy an office. So anything that's real estate, basically, you can exchange.
Can you do a mobile home?
No, mobile home, unless it's put
Converted.
on the yeah.
Okay. If it's converted, you can absolutely do it.
Converted
But
to
just if it's like a mobile home that's real personal property,
Personal
you cannot.
property.
So it has to be real property.
Yeah.
And then tell us about, there's some language in the 1031 exchange law that says like kindness. What does that actually mean?
Like kind basically is real estate anymore. We used to do personal property
Like
exchanges.
airplanes and stuff like that?
Right, but
Okay.
they discontinued those.
Okay, so
So it's only real estate. So any real estate, you can exchange for any real estate.
okay.
As long as it's investment.
Okay, long as investment. So let's talk about time frames. So let's say I have a client that wants to list their house. Not their house, but their investment property.
Yeah.
What's the process? So if they want to say, all right, I've owned it for 20 years, I bought it for $250, it's worth $500, which is a real case situation right now.
Definitely.
What is the process? How does it all work?
So once you get an accepted offer and it goes into escrow,
Okay.
I need the escrow contact information, and then I contact them. I get the prelim contract and I draw my exchange documents, send them into escrow, and they're signed with the escrow documents.
Okay.
So it's pretty seamless. When it closes, I get a closing package.
And you get the money, so the money goes, instead of going to the person, it actually physically goes to you,
Yes.
correct?
We get the wire, and a closing package will send you out the opening letter. It's going to tell you time frames that you need to meet, how much we're holding.
Okay, so what is the time frame? So if you sell your property, the clock starts once you sell your investment property, correct?
The closing date is
Yep.
when it starts. You have 45 days to identify your replacement property. You have 180 days to get it closed.
And those are calendar days, correct?
Those, yeah. Mhm.
Okay, so
Definitely.
45 days to identify three, or what's the process? How do I help, or if someone, because right now in our market, as everyone knows, almost every property has
Yes.
3 to 4 offers or more. So how does that work?
Okay.
And then how do you get drawn into this?
So with that opening letter, we send the ID form for you to complete. You can safely identify 3 properties without consideration of any other rules.
Okay.
Even if you're going to buy one, you can safely identify so you have backups.
Okay.
Okay. If you identify 4 or more, it can't be more than 200% of the aggregate value. Okay.
Okay. So what does that mean in English? So I like this example that someone bought it for $250, it's worth $500. So
Okay.
what is the?
So they sell for $500.
Yep.
And they want to identify 4 or more properties. They can't go over $1 million, so twice the sales price.
Okay.
200%. So if they do go over that 200% rule, they have to purchase 95% of them. So essentially, they need to purchase all of them. If they can identify 25, as long as they're going to buy all of them.
Okay. So best case is to stay within 3.
That is the most reasonable, yes.
Now, the question I get is, can they go into escrow to buy another property before and make it contingent upon their sale before?
Definitely.
To eliminate this?
Yes. The idea is you can't be entitled to both properties at the same time.
Okay.
So as long as you're under contract, you can be in escrow. You're selling your relinquished property. As long as it doesn't close before your relinquished property, you're fine.
Okay, so you have to physically close on your property, and then the next day, but you can't do any sooner. I just want to make sure.
Right. I mean, we can instruct one escrow to wire directly to the replacement property escrow, so for a concurrent close. So we can close that quick.
Okay.
But you definitely can't take title to both of them at the same time.
All right, so I'm going to use some of your experience here.
Okay.
What do you see in the market? How are these? You said that you were busy in November, December. So what do you see? Do you see people getting an escrow before, or do you see people closing on there and then trying to? Because it worries me as a realtor right now. If I only put 3, those could all be gone. So what do you see in the market?
Yes. I see more reverse exchanges.
Oh, wait a second. You can do a reverse? There's a 1031 reverse? Of
Yes.
course there is. Now, what is that?
A reverse exchange is where you find your property
Buy it?
and you buy it before. So we, as the exchange company, create an LLC and we buy it for you. So we hold title until you get your...
You buy it?
Yeah.
Oh,
So
wow.
we borrow the money from you essentially to buy this property, hold title until your other property's closed, and then we deed it.
Well, how do the time frames on that work?
This is very complex.
So is it
Same
better?
thing.
Is it
Same
the
thing.
reverse? So
Yeah.
you have 45 days to close on your property then?
Yes.
After you close, and
Yeah.
then 180 days
Well,
to...
you have 45 days to identify the property you're going to
which we already
relinquish,
did.
and then you have 180 to get it closed. That closes, funds come to me, and I basically repay you for the loan that I borrowed.
Wow, that's
very
interesting. So what are the fees on that? So what are the fees on that? Let's go back. Now you got me all off. 'Cause reverse, of course, there's a reverse. Someone came up with, didn't like the rules and reversed it. So let's start at the top. If you're doing a normal 1031 exchange where you get your property in escrow, then you find one, you close, and what is the fee for someone from Allied?
$750. That includes one sell and one buy. If you have additional purchases, it's $300.
Okay, so 300 each
For
one.
each additional, yeah.
Okay.
So
If you do
Yeah.
3, you get 750 plus 300 plus 300.
right.
So that's the only fee. So pretty nominal.
Yeah.
It's not that.
No.
And you're basically what's called a qualified intermediary.
Yeah.
And what is that? That's the person that collects the money and
Right.
follows
It's
the rules?
It's right. It's a licensed company that can act as the disinterested third party in this situation.
Now, I want to be very clear. It's different than the title company that you're dealing with, correct? Usually,
Yes.
or can you do, does Ally do a traditional?
No, I don't do any escrows.
Okay, so you're going to be an escrow with First Centennial Title,
Right.
and she's also going to be involved, and she's the one where the money's going to be transferred for the. That's what a
Exactly.
qualified intermediary is.
Exactly. Yeah.
Okay, so now we're going to talk. I'm guessing that the funds or the cost is a little bit more if you're buying it. What does that
a
look
lot
like?
more.
What does that look like?
It's well, if it's 500,000 or less, it's about $4,000. If
Okay.
you go 750,000 would be about 7,500.
Okay, so it's a lot more, but
Right.
the risk is a lot less.
Exactly. There's
Risk and reward. It's all about
Exactly.
risk. So yeah, because
Exactly.
right now I can't honestly tell you that 3 properties you can get in the contract. That's the
Right.
other problem. And then it's
Right.
yeah. So and then if you're doing a 1031 reverse, it's probably you just close on it and then find your properties. Correct?
Well, on the reverse.
Or you find that you
you're-
close on the property and then you sell the other one. You have
Exactly.
45 days to sell.
Right. Same rules. You can relinquish 1, 2, or however many.
Okay. And what does it actually save? I mean, I guess that's the question is we're trying to thread the needle. So let's use our little back to our 250. So they have a net gain of 250,000. Is that what they're saving the tax on? And what does that look like on a tax savings?
And it's not getting rid of the tax. You're deferring it.
Okay.
Okay, so you're gonna, the idea and the reason they created the 1031 rule was to continue to invest and grow the investment. So one day, if you sell it, they're gonna go back and,
Man, so how does all that trail? How do you keep it?
well, every year you're gonna be reporting.
Okay, you report it. That you
Right,
have
so that's
sale.
what they're gonna go back on.
Okay, so then eventually you're gonna have to pay for it unless you pass
die.
away. And then
Yes.
you get a stepped up cost basis.
Exactly, then your heirs get it at the stepped up basis.
For now.
For now.
Because
and
there's a
they are
discussion
trying-
about trying to get rid of that,
Yeah,
correct?
Biden's trying to get rid of it.
Okay, so be
Yes.
careful on that. All these are subject to change. So I know that 1031 exchange is slowed because there is a push, correct, to try and get rid of 1031 exchanges potentially.
Yes, they
And-
have been trying to, and honestly, I don't think it's going to happen. We're members of the FEA, which is the Federation of Exchange Accommodators, and get updates from Capitol Hill all the time, and
So
it's
for
really
right
not
now,
even,
for now it's not even.
right.
But it was last year. It was for real.
Yeah,
They would have got that
They
through.
definitely were pushing it, so
So
we're relieved a bit for now.
yeah, and keep in mind it could be retroactive, right? Correct.
It could be.
Yeah. So
I don't
you
know
gotta.
if they do that.
So I want to be clear: is we are not accountants. We're not CPAs. So. Like we talked about a lot on this channel is you got to have your experts. You got to have your 1031 expert. You got to have your tax person. You got to have your realtor. So make sure you have all those people in place and talk about that because we don't want to be retroactive and then you sell a property and you still have to pay taxes on it.
Right.
So, and here's a little bit more, I don't want to go into this, but I'm going to go right into it so when you buy a rental property and it's a residential, let's talk about residential, you get it depreciated over 27 and a half years, correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, so talk to your accountant, but you get to depreciate it. Talk to your accountant about what that
Yes.
is. Does that reset when you do a 1031 exchange, or how does that?
Well, depreciation recaptures 25%. Okay, so another reason to defer it. I believe same rule when you sell eventually.
Right.
You're going to go back and.
But if you're in year 15 and you've been depreciating your property, do you still get another 12 and a half?
Oh,
All right.
that's a CPA
CPA,
question.
okay. So make sure, again, this is why we kind of bring this up, and I appreciate you being honest and just
Yeah.
saying stay out of that.
Yeah,
Talk to your CPA about, how you get to depreciate going forward. Because if you're,
complicated.
yep, so that's good. What's the outlook for 1031 exchange? Are they gonna be around? I kind of talked about this. Are they?
I'm hoping they will be, and we do have people fighting to keep them. So and again, it has been pushed off of the agenda. So hopefully it will continue.
Okay, so if someone wants to get a hold of you and talk, so how does it work? If someone's interested, is it better to contact you ahead of time to make sure that they understand? You can lay out the rules of the 1031 exchange, right? If I have a client that's interested and say,
Sure.
this is what the deal is, this is what you have to do.
Yeah.
And then work with your realtor, and then we kind of probably all work as a team, correct?
Exactly.
Keep on the deadline. Now, what happens if you don't hit the deadlines? I guess does that happen?
Oh gosh, it does happen. So once we close and we get to the 45th day, this is very important. If we get to the 45th day and we do not have an identification form, okay, 46th day, it's failed.
Okay.
So we return funds.
And then you're taxed on it. Yeah.
Yeah, so you're taxed on the funds. If we get to the 60th day and we have an ID form that has 3 properties on it or however many, and you call and say it's not going to work, none of them, so I want my money, we cannot give you your money till the 181st day.
Oh, wow. So
Yeah.
there's no, you have to hold it.
Yeah, so yeah, again,
What?
that's why I say, up to that 45th day, you can rescind it, put a new one in, you can rescind it completely. I'm not feeling good about this, just take it off, and then we can refund the money on the 46th day.
Okay, but if you pass that,
Yeah, if you've identified and you get past that 45th day, you cannot get your funds back until the 181st day.
wow. So all things that, if you're thinking about doing this, it's important to get in, talk to your accountant, your realtor, and a 1031 specialist like Geneva. So how about your name, your number? How do they get a hold of you?
Okay, Geneva Martinkus, phone number 775-851-0881.
Okay, yeah, and then you can always reach out to me. I'll have it in the description below. Give her a call. I'm going to be sending this out to a lot of our clients. We have a lot of people who have big time gains, and it might be an opportunity to exchange it and delay some taxes. It makes sense for you. So
Thank you.
thanks for coming in. Until next time, please like our videos. We're having a lot of success on these videos. Our last one got our highest total. We got about 2,000 views, so they are working, and we appreciate everyone commenting and giving us positive reviews. So until next time, you guys take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Thanks.
Thank you.